Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Brad, Firewood at the Furnace. I hope you all are having a great week. Welcome back, and in the last couple weeks you've been watching a few of the deliveries that we've had going on here, and there's been other deliveries, you know, in between those, but I was trying to highlight some of the bigger deliveries and some of the ones that other things happened in. So I hope you've enjoyed the last couple weeks of videos showing some of our first deliveries with this firewood hobby slash business. But I just want to give you a quick tour of the wood yard this morning before we get started and show you what's going on here, because things have thinned out a lot. The wood yard's kind of empty, and I gotta be honest with you, it's this might sound funny, but it's kind of hurtful or bittersweet to watch that beautifully stacked wood go out of here and know that it's time to start all over again. But I understand that that's part of this process, so I'm all good with it. If the wood was sitting here the whole time, that'd be a big problem. So let me turn the camera around here, and we'll be right back to you. Stick around. All right, so I'm going to try to go ahead and start here in the front of the wood yard and show you. This is the road that we get down between row 1 and row 2 in, where all that oak was blocking a few weeks ago. So the few cherry logs that were there are still here. They're bucked up, laying on the ground. They're going to be split this week. But now let's take a look at row 1. And we'll slide over here to row 2. So row 1 is just about wiped out. And I'm going to walk you down through here and tell you what's getting ready to still go out of here. So there's a stack of maple there, that's sold. There's a full cord of cherry right here, that's sold. There's a little bit of walnut stacked here, about half a face cord. It's not sold yet. Come down past all these empty stacks. We've got there's another cord and a third of cherry here. It's all sold. This is all campfire wood over here, so I'll be using that for my bundles. There's 2 face cords of locust. That's sold. There's a little bit of walnut here that's not sold. This is more campfire wood. There's a full cord of this that's sold. So pretty much everything you see right here. 3 stacks of that is going to be gone. And then there is a full cord of maple here that I believe 2/3 of that is sold. So we're going to have very, very thin pickings here coming up in the next week or two. There is a little bit of cherry on this side, not quite a full face cord or a third of a cord. But that's sitting here available. So I'm thinking when it's all said and done, when everything that I have currently sold is gone, I might have a cord of wood left. I think if I combine this cherry, the walnut, maple, maybe a cord. So that's good. I mean, I'm making it to sell it, so. But let me bring you over here to row 3. While you've been watching the delivery videos over the past couple weeks, I've been working, trying to knock stuff out. You remember row 3, I got up to that maple, the logs that were laying there, and they were in the way of the row. So the last time I left off with you here in the wood yard, we had gotten to this point right here. And this is all oak. We had split and stacked all of this, but since you've left, this is what has gotten done. So we've got all the oak done. There's some maple here. Then we went back to some oak, and then the rest of this here is maple. This is all the stuff that was laying pretty much right where it's stacked in log form. So we had to bust through that so that we had room to keep going. A lot of this maple was pretty dry. Bark was falling off of it as I was splitting it. So we've got quite the mess here to get cleaned up. You know, I try to keep things tidy, but sometimes when you get on a roll, you just got to leave the mess for later. So there's still some oak laying here that I got to get to. But like I said, I was just trying to bust through this road. And then we're just about to the end of row 3. And I'm going to finish row 3 out with this ash that you saw me bring in last week on our backhaul. I've got this marked up here. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get this ash bucked up, because all of these rounds that I had already bucked up earlier to get out of the way are still sitting here to be split. So this is all going to be for row 4. So I think I'm ahead of the curve for next year. Well, if it's even possible to be ahead of the curve, because you never have enough wood. But if my goal was 20 cords, I should be able to meet or exceed that, keeping up at this pace I'm at now. So let's get you set up. Oh, one more thing. Once we get this ash bucked up today, my tree service guy called me, and he loaded a load of ash logs on his dump trailer yesterday at a job, and told me to just come and hook up to his dump trailer, and I could have those logs as well. So we're gonna make a trip later on once we buck this up and pick up some more logs. So here we go. So while the saw's over there warming up, I just wanted to remind you, when we brought this ash log in, you remember when we were loading, I showed you there was some cable in these logs. So I might have been a little overkill on my paint to remind myself, but you definitely don't want to run into that with the saw. So we're going to start bucking these logs. We got this great big daddy here that I might break out the 660 clone saw on. See, just for fun, if we can rip through that thing. See what we can get out of it. So let's start cutting. So there it is, all bucked up. All that ash has been laying here since last week's video. We got all that bucked up today, and we're gonna get over to this great big log over here. I promised you that I would buck that up, try to cut that just for fun. But if you notice on here, I got my red mark, the chalk mark all the way across the log. And the reason I do that is because it helps me to keep a straight cut. I notice a lot of times when I'm cutting a big log, you don't realize it, but if you're just off just a little bit in the beginning, by the time you get to the end, it compounds itself pretty bad. You might end up with 16 inches across the top and then only 12 or 13 on the other end because you're cutting on an angle from the beginning. So I make my mark all the way around the log, about halfway, and that way it helps me line the saw up a little better. Well, that's the end of that, and the old 660 clone saw got through it pretty good. I don't know how big this log was, but I'm going to get the tape measure here and we're going to check it out. The widest part measures about 35.5 inches, so I think that's the first time I've had to walk around the log and use the saw on both sides. So let's go get some logs now. Well, here we are, and he's got this trailer loaded down. Ash logs, some rounds up front, but this trailer's full. This is a good load. I think it's a 16-foot dump trailer he's got. Mine's 14. This one looks a little longer. So there's the rounds up there in the front. It's another great load of firewood. So we'll get hooked up here, we'll get back to the wood yard and get it dumped. All right, here we are backed in on the far side of row 3. Trying to plan for the best place for this stuff to lay so it can be near where I think I'm going to be stacking it. So this is my best guess at this point. I still got all that stuff on the other side over there, but it's already cut up in rounds that needs to be stacked and split. But I think this will be a good place for this to stay for now. And hopefully it's near where I need it to be. Well, it looks like a pretty good amount of straight logs here. Should make good firewood. Should probably move this so it's not buried. See a rake in here. That'll get buried too. Oh yeah, this is all she wants. Uh-oh. Might not lift it. Oh, she doesn't, either the battery's low or it's too heavy. So I'm gonna pause you for a minute. I'm gonna get my little jump pack. We'll put a jump pack on here and see if it'll dump. All right, so I got my little jump pack. We'll see if this is gonna do the trick or not. Hopefully it's just a low battery and the load's not too heavy to dump it, because I'm not going to try to offload this by hand. She's definitely heavy. You got a better view than I do. Jump pack's getting pretty hot. Might have to cool off here for a second. All right, so new plan. Here I am still sitting with the dump trailer 2/3 of the way up in the air. My jump pack, that little tiny jump pack that I had, putting the trailer up that far with that amount of weight in it just wiped it out. It's dead. And it was fully charged. So the new plan is jumper cables. I've got it hooked up to the battery on the dump trailer here, and I called my wife Valerie, who's my #1 employee, and she just happens to be coming by here in a minute. So she's gonna pull in here shortly, so I don't have to unhook my truck and turn it around to hook up the cables to the truck battery. I can leave the truck hooked up. She's gonna pull her Durango up here. We'll hook the jumper cables up, get this load off, and we should be good. We should be. So we'll see here in just a minute. Yes, Valerie is coming to my rescue. All right, she's not in the Durango, she's in the Lincoln, so we're hooked up to that. Say hi, Val. She's coming to the rescue. So I'll get you down here. And hopefully we're dumping now. Hopefully. If you all are still tuned in to watch this catastrophe, I appreciate it. Let's see what we got. All right, we're gonna unhook the cables, let Val get out of the way, and we should be good. Woo, them jumper cables are hot too. No wonder it killed that jump pack so quick. Them little tiny wires on that thing. All right. You're free to go, my love. Thank you. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for the day. We got another nice load of ash logs here. We got the last load of ash logs all bucked up today, and you got an update on the wood yard. So there's still a lot more wood to go out of here, and there's still a lot more wood to get stacked up here. So we've got plenty to look forward to. Thanks for sticking around through the difficult dump, but we got it done, and I hope everybody has a great week. We'll see you next time.